There were 3 of them, and the youngest could not sleep. I want you to picture the room the way the mother described it to me. A small bedroom at the end of a hall, a nightlight in the corner, a little bed against the wall, and a boy of 6 lying in it with his eyes open in the dark, listening to something, not a sound from the house, something else. She told me it had been going on for months. He would fall asleep without trouble. Then, somewhere past midnight, he would wake. Not crying at first, just awake, sitting up, staring at the same corner of the room every single night. When she asked him what he was looking at, he would not answer the way a frightened child answers. He would answer the way a child answers when he has been told a secret and has been asked to keep it. She thought it was a phase. Her husband thought it was nightmares. The pediatrician thought it was screen time and told them to cut it back, and they meant to, and they did not. Life is loud. 3 children, 2 jobs. The nights got worse anyway. By the time she called me, the boy had stopped wanting to be in his own room. He slept on the floor of his parents' bedroom. He had begun to say things in the morning that a 6-year-old does not invent on his own. Cold things, old things. And there was one sentence he repeated, calm and certain, that made his mother's hands go still. He said, "The man in the corner only came when the light was on." Stay with me. Because the light he meant was not the lamp. Let me tell you who I am, so you know why I am the one saying this. My name is Chad Ripperger. I am a Catholic priest. I have spent years of my life trained in the rite of exorcism, working under the authority of the church in rooms most people will never enter and would not want to. I have sat with families at the worst hour of their lives. I have read the prayers the church gives us against the enemy, and I have watched those prayers work. I am not a man who is easily frightened, and I am not a man who goes looking for the devil under every bed. Most of what afflicts a family is ordinary. Grief, exhaustion, illness, a marriage that has gone quiet. I tell people that more often than I tell them anything else. The demonic is rare. It is real, but it is rare. What I am going to describe to you tonight is a composite. I have changed the family. I have changed the details that would identify them. The case is drawn from patterns I have seen more than once, in more than one home, across more years than I would like to count. I am not telling you that what happened in that little bedroom is happening in yours. I am telling you that the door it came through is a door standing open in a great many houses right now, and almost no one has noticed it is open because we stopped checking the locks 2 generations ago. So listen the way you would listen if it were your child, not afraid, awake. Let me go back to the family, because the answer is in the family, the way it almost always is. The father worked late, the mother worked too, from home in the evenings after the little ones were down. That is not a sin, that is most of the country, but it meant the bedtime hour, the 1 hour that used to belong entirely to the child, had gotten thin. It had been worn down to a routine of teeth and pajamas and a kiss and the closing of a door. And to fill the quiet, to settle the boy, to buy themselves the half hour they needed to finish the dishes and answer the messages, they had given him something to fall asleep to. A small tablet propped on the shelf. It played gently, soft videos. Then when those ended, whatever the program decided to play next, and next, and next, through the whole night, because no one ever turned it off, it glowed in the corner until morning. For 400 years, the church provided the laity with specific prayers to address situations in their homes that they could not explain. Most parishes stopped teaching them after 1965. Now, they have all been compiled into a concise, practical guide. Keep it near the door and read the first page tonight. You will find the link to get the book in the description and in the first pinned comment. It spoke into that room for 8 hours every night while the only person there was a sleeping child. That was the light the boy meant. Now, I want to be careful here because this is exactly the point where people stop listening, and I do not want you to stop listening. I am not going to tell you that a tablet is possessed. A tablet is metal and glass. It has no soul, and it cannot have a demon. That is superstition, and the church does not traffic in superstition. But hear what I am telling you instead, because it is older and graver than any gadget. A child asleep is not a child switched off. The soul does not sleep. The imagination does not close its eyes. St. Thomas Aquinas teaches that the imagination is one of the interior senses, a real power of the soul, and that it keeps working when the body lies still. The images we take in do not evaporate when we close the door. They sink down. They are stored. They feed the part of us that dreams, and the part of us that fears, and the part of us that will one day choose. Now ask yourself, what was being poured into that boy for 8 hours a night, unwatched, unchosen, hour after hour, while the program selected its own path through the dark? Not one story a parent had picked and could vouch for. An endless river of images no adult had ever seen, chosen by nothing that loved him, playing to no one but him in the most defenseless hours a human being has. The night is not neutral. It never was. The Church has always known this, which is why she gave us prayers for it. Compline, the last prayer of the day, begs God to defend us from the terrors of the night, from the thing that walks in the darkness. Our grandparents did not think that line was poetry. They thought it was a request, and they meant it, and they said it before they slept. And here's the part I need you to understand about a parent's authority, because everything turns on it. You are not merely the manager of your child, you are the guardian God appointed over that soul. There is a real authority that comes with that, a spiritual authority, and the home is the place where you exercise it. The walls of your house are not just walls. What you permit inside them, you permit with your authority. What you bless with your authority. And what you leave open with your authority too. When a parent removes himself from the bedtime hour and hands the child over to a machine to be raised through the night by whatever the machine decides, something quiet happens. The guardian steps back. The watch is unmanned. The authority that was supposed to stand over that room all night long simply goes to sleep along with everyone else, and the room is left unguarded. The enemy does not need an invitation engraved on fine paper. He needs an opening and an absence. An unformed soul taking in images no one is watching, in a room where no one is praying, under a parent's authority that has quietly withdrawn for the night. That is not nothing. In the order of grace and its absence, that is a great deal. This is the witness of the Church's own ritual. The Rituale Romanum, set down in its classic form in the year 1614, contains the blessings of the home, of the bedroom, of the child. The Church did not compose those blessings as decoration. She composed them because she understood that a dwelling can be claimed for God or left in dispute, that the place where a child sleeps is a battlefront, and that the remedy is to consecrate the ground rather than abandon it. We stopped saying those blessings. We did not decide they were false. We simply got busy and tired and embarrassed, and we let them fall. St. Thomas Aquinas wrote more than a dozen questions on how fallen angels operate. Most Catholics have never read one line of it. This archive gathers that teaching, the 1,614 rite, and 4 centuries of documented cases into a single reference. Read it slowly, 1 chapter a night. You will find the link to get the book in the description and in the first posted comment. Inheritance of protection set down across centuries quietly went unused in one generation. And then we were surprised that the dark felt closer than it used to. I am not telling you the demonic is behind every sleepless child. I have buried that exaggeration more times than I can count, and it does real harm. Most bad nights are just bad nights. But I am telling you that grace is real, that the absence of grace is also real, and that we have stripped a child's bedroom of nearly everything our ancestors put there to keep watch while the family slept. So let me tell you what changed in that house, because something did. I went to the family. I did not perform an exorcism. The boy did not need one, and to attempt one would have been an abuse of the right. What that home needed was not a battle. It needed its watch restored. I asked one thing first. Before any prayer, I asked them to take the tablet out of the room, not turn it down, not set a timer. Take it out entirely and let the room be dark and silent the way a child's room was for nearly all of human history. The mother hesitated. She told me he would never settle without it. I told her to try and to stay with him while he learned. Then we restored the things that had been let go. We blessed the room with holy water, the 4 corners and the bed and the door, the way the old ritual lays it out. We hung a blessed crucifix on the wall where the boy could see it. We placed an image of Our Lady near the bed, and we brought back the one thing that costs nothing and that nearly everyone has abandoned, the night prayer. The parent at the bedside, the sign of the cross traced on the child's forehead, a few words handing him over to God and to his guardian angel before sleep. The first 2 nights were hard. He asked for the screen. He did not understand why the corner was simply dark now. His mother stayed and prayed and held his hand in the dark and did not give it back to him. On the 3rd night, he slept through. And here's the thing I want you to sit with, the thing that is not coincidence. He did not say the man came less often. He said the man did not come anymore. And when she asked him why that calm, certain child, he gave her the answer that told me everything I needed to know. He said the corner was dark now, so there was nothing for the man to come through. I will not tell you what stood in that corner. I do not deal in those descriptions for an audience, and I will not start. I will tell you only what left when the light left, and what stayed away once the room was blessed and a parent knelt beside it again every night. Now I want to be precise about what saved that room, because I do not want you to walk away with a charm in your pocket. Taking the tablet out did not save it. Holy water by itself did not save it. None of these things are magic. A crucifix on the wall of a house with no faith in it is a piece of carved wood. What restored that room was a parent stepping back into the place God had given him to stand. The authority taken up again. The watch manned again. The objects were the sign of it. The prayers were the substance of it. The change in the child was the fruit of it. Let me tell you then what actually protects a child so you can stop reaching for the wrong thing. The real strategy is the sacraments and a life ordered around them. There is nothing newer than that and nothing stronger. Our Lord told the apostles, whose sins you forgive are forgiven them. That is in the 20th chapter of John. Confession is not a formality. It is where the soul is cleansed and the enemy loses his grip, and a family that goes regularly is a family with its defenses up. The Eucharist is Christ himself, the bread of the strong. A home where the parents receive him worthily is a home with a different king than the one the world serves. Then come the things the church puts in our hands for the home. Holy water, kept by the door, used at bedtime, a small sign of the cross on a sleeping forehead. The brown scapular worn with the promise the church attaches to it. The family rosary, said together, not perfectly, not even nightly at first, but said, Our Lady has crushed the serpent's head since the beginning, and the enemy has never once grown comfortable in a house where her son's mother is honored out loud. And then the room itself. A child's bedroom should be a place of peace and not a small theater that runs all night. Let it be dark, let it be quiet. Take the glowing thing out of it, the one that talks to your child when you are not there to hear what it says. Put a crucifix where he can see it. Put his mother in heaven near his pillow. Make the last face he sees at night the face of someone who loves him, kneeling beside him, and the last words he hears, words handing him to God. Consecrate the child. Give him, by name, to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Tell heaven he is theirs. A consecrated child sleeps under a claim, and the enemy knows the difference between ground that is claimed and ground that is merely empty. None of this requires you to be afraid. It requires you to be present. That is the whole of it. Now, let me say plainly why this is happening now, in our time, in a way it did not happen to our grandparents. Because the reason matters. For most of human history, a child fell asleep in a quiet room, often near his parents, sometimes with a prayer said over him, in a house where faith was part of the furniture. The room held nothing that spoke after the candle went out. That is gone in a single generation. Now, the glowing thing is in the room by default. It is in the crib. It plays through the night in millions of houses, and it never sleeps, and it answers to no one who loves the child. At the very same time, we let go of the protection. The night prayer disappeared from most homes. The blessing of the house, the holy water by the door, the crucifix over the bed, the rosary in the evening, all the ordinary armor our ancestors took for granted simply fell out of use. After the council that ended in 1965, in the confusion of those years, a great deal of catechesis collapsed. A whole generation grew up without ever being taught the prayers their own grandparents knew by heart, not because anyone forbade them, because no one handed them down. So look at what we have built without meaning to. The child's room at night now holds the maximum of unwatched input and the minimum of protection. Never in history has a sleeping child been so exposed and so unguarded at once. And here, I will say it the way I mean it, the enemy has stopped hiding. He used to need a crack to slip through. Now the door stands open and the watchman has gone to sleep, and there is nothing dramatic about it, which is exactly why it works. The most effective opening is the one nobody thinks to close. You are not powerless against this. That is the lie I most want to pull out of you. The remedies are still here. The church never lost them. They are sitting unused on a shelf, and all you have to do is take them down and use them. The infrastructure of protection was never destroyed. It was set aside. And what is set aside can be picked back up tonight. So here is what I am asking you to do this week. Not someday, this week. Take the device out of your child's room at night, the tablet, the phone, the thing that autoplays in the dark, out of the room, charging somewhere else while he sleeps. If there is a cult decoration in that room, a symbol someone gave it without thinking, take that out too. Make the room dark and quiet and yours again. Restore the night prayer. Go to your child's bedside and do not just say good night. Trace the sign of the cross on his forehead, hand him to God and to his guardian angel in a few honest words. Do it every night until it is the most natural thing in the house. Bless the room. Use holy water on the corners, the bed, the door. Hang a blessed crucifix where the child can see it. Place an image of Our Lady near the bed. If you do not have holy water, your parish has it, and it is free, and you may take some home this Sunday. Consecrate your child. By name, give him to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Renew it. Let heaven know whose he is. Pray the Rosary as a family. Begin with 1 decade if the whole thing feels impossible. Begin badly. Begin tired. Just begin and keep at it. Go to confession. Bring your spouse. A house is guarded from the inside out, and the parents are the inside. And if you genuinely suspect something is wrong, something beyond a hard season, do not go to the internet and do not go to a stranger. Go to a faithful priest, a sound spiritual director who takes both the soul and the demonic seriously and exaggerates neither. Begin with the ordinary remedies. They are almost always enough. I want to leave you with hope, because hope is the truth here and fear is not. Your child is not alone in that room, even on the worst night. Every baptized child has a guardian angel set over him by God, who beholds the face of the Father, who does not sleep when your child sleeps. Our Lady's protection is real, older than the serpent's malice and stronger than it. Heaven is not outmatched. It never has been. And the smallness of what I have asked you to do is the mercy of it. You do not need to be a hero. Athanasius once stood nearly alone against the whole world for the truth, and the world is not where the truth is measured. You only need to be faithful in one dark room for one child, one night at a time. Take out the light that was never yours to leave on. Put back the cross. Kneel down beside the bed. Choose Christ. Choose his church. Choose his sacraments. Choose his mother. Choose the cross. And do not look back. Next time I am going to tell you about the object that does not stay in childhood. The one that is handed down, packed away, inherited, and follows a person into adulthood, into a marriage, into a new house, still carrying whatever was attached to it long ago. You will want to know what is in your own attic before you hear it.